How's it going? It looks like we're probably just waiting for a few more people.
Oh, look, my mentor. Hey, Tim.
So just let me know when you would like to begin.
Hey, Crystal, thanks for that. We usually start 5 minutes, so on 05 to give some time for all the volunteers to get in the room.
Okay, no problem.
Hey, Lucy.
Test.
Hello, hello.
Hello, do you hear me?
Hello.
No. Pardon?
Hey, Tim, we can hear you.
Yeah, okay, thank you.
Hey, hey.
Hi, back to you.
All right, I think we should start. I hear that we are live in Ermo. Is that correct, Crystal?
Yeah, you can go ahead.
Cool, thank you very much. Hello, hello, and welcome everyone to this week's Reps Call. We are back on our usual time. And if you don't know why I'm saying that, you should check last week's time that it was featured in LATAM hours, or like North American hours, but we have more people in LATAM, so we did it for the LATAM people. So go and check it out, and if you speak Spanish or Portuguese, it was also translated in those languages during the call, so that was super, super nice. So I will say hello to who I see that in the room. Hello to Jason, Crystal, who is helping us from Elmo, Michael, Kiki, Tim, Lucy, and Tude. And we also have Luna and Angel in the Etherpad. Hello, everybody. Today, Kiki is asking to know what Firefox mobile version you're using. She's also interested in many different stuff. So go and let us know what are you preferring to use in your part of the world. I'm gonna just give the first shout out to the amazing work that we just mentioned from the LATAM reps that ran the 2 LATAM repo calls this month. As far as I remember, it was Luis, and I don't remember who did it 2 weeks ago. Kiki knows better on those things. But thank you very much from all your work. And I think it was a very successful experiment, and we should try to do it in the future as well. The reason we are doing this is because this call is in Europe, Asia friendly, so people from the Asia, Europe, and Africa are able to join, but it has been reported to us that it's not very friendly for people in Latin and North America, since they have to work on these hours or they're not awake yet. So we did 2 calls this month to help those people, and it was pretty cool. So go and check it out. With that, I am gonna give the floor to Señorita Lucy from the cold Canada that I hear is very cold these days. And she's gonna give us an update on what is happening on the mission-driven Mozillians world.
It is indeed extremely cold here in Canada. We're at negative 29 today, as we have been all week. It's extremely cold. So I wanted to share, I'm going to share my screen as well, but I wrote a blog post and put it up earlier this week that has an update on the Mission-Driven Resilience project. I will give a quick kind of visual presentation version of what is in that post. For those of you who were at the All Hands, you will recognize a lot of this presentation. So if you don't know what the Mission-Driven Resilience project is, I'm going to do a really quick update here. But I posted a link to a helpful YouTube video that Ruben and I did maybe 6 months ago, where you can hear the whole background and logic of the program. But briefly, when we talk about mission-driven resilience, we're referring to a persona of contributor that is this global community of people who are really enthusiastic and passionate about Mozilla's mission, and they're here to make an impact on Mozilla. So we did some research a while ago, and we saw people, when they really care about the mission, they do a lot of different things across the project. So they're moving between things like localization, support, marketing, evangelism, teaching, documentation. And we noticed that if you're doing a lot of different things across the project, like many reps are, it can be a pretty bad experience for you. So we started to look at how can we make the experience for people who are all over the world doing lots of different things to help Mozilla win and be really effective. So that is the goal of the Mission-Driven Resilience project, a modern, unified way to attract and engage volunteers who want Mozilla to win. There's so much more you can read on this if you want a deep dive on the background of the whole project. But we've been working on this for almost 2 years now. And so in 2018, we had 2 lenses that we were looking at tackling this problem through. One is how can we make it easier for people to find and engage in really high value contribution areas? And the second is looking at all of the different parts of contribution that have problems. How can we make some more coordinated approaches and unified systems to simplify things? So approach number 1, getting people to high value contributions. In 2018, we really focused on campaigns. Hopefully y'all participated in, heard about, promoted some of the amazing campaigns that Cosmodina was running. Here are three big ones that hopefully you heard about: the Common Voice Sprint, Dark Funnel Detective, which we got so much great feedback that it was really fun to do and felt really impactful. Each of these did amazing things for Firefox, for Mozilla. Dark Funnel Detective, we just got some more feedback that over 50% of the websites of the dark funnel, so the websites that we don't understand where they're coming from, have now been attributed thanks to the work of the dark funnel campaign, which has a whole bunch of implications around being able to keep people safe, being able to keep people engaged with Firefox. So really, really awesome. So we're really happy with how we did there. Gets a little check mark. Coordinate approaches and unified systems. We've got these 7 different areas. Hopefully this is familiar to a lot of people. We've been talking about it for 2 years. There's lots of documentation that you can check out. We did well in a lot of these areas, but we also had some misses. So in group structures, that's the Mozilla Groups pilot that's been running in India, where the goal is to understand how we could create a place for people to register their groups with Mozilla, where you could find other groups and where we can create a better experience for people who are grouping together to participate with Mozilla. That ran well in 2018. Around diversity and inclusion, the community participation guidelines are increasingly everywhere. The enforcement process is getting more streamlined. And we also did a training for community managers at the All Hands to help more community managers also be aware of what they are and how to use them. Hopefully you're starting to see them crop up everywhere. That's definitely a big part of the work in 2018, where we think we did really well. Volunteer leadership continues to be embedded into all sorts of places. We were working with support and LTNet specifically to see if we can embed it more into their work. So those all get check marks. Metrics. We hope to be able to connect a contribution area to Mozillians so that there would start to be this kind of cohesive system between your profile and a contribution area. Did not happen. Mozillians was not ready. So that didn't happen. Recognition. We wanted to look at non-contribution based recognition, so re-examine vouching, like thank you systems, be able to really dive into what that might look like. We were not able to get to that in 2018. Resource distribution, Kiki did amazing research the first half of the year to figure out what are all of the parts of Mozilla giving out money and swag, and what are the different processes, and could we make some streamlined stuff. Started to look at tools, and then we ran out of bandwidth and investment to be able to actually implement some sort of cross-organizational system. But that research is there, so we can hopefully pick it up later in 2019. And then contributor journey, this like campaign system and the work that you'll soon see around the Activate site to make it a lot easier to find those campaigns, to participate in them in other contribution areas, is actually gone really well, and I won't make any spoilers, but hopefully you'll be seeing some of the exciting implications of that soon. Okay, 2019, how am I doing for time? Should I go faster or like less high level? I'm good. So 2019, we're taking the same approach. So we still have the same goal. We want to make a great contribution experience for people who are coming to Mozilla and want it to win. Step 1, those kind of directed contributions towards high value engagement so that you know when you're contributing, it's in the most impactful area. So we're going to run more campaigns, better campaigns. We're going to try and get more people involved in each campaign and make sure that every campaign we run has got that big impact, like what we saw in the dark funnel. The other thing we're going to do is support some what we call evergreen contribution areas, places that always need contributions at Mozilla. When we do campaigns, they're often around a specific time-bound problem, like we need this right now. But obviously, there's things like Common Voice, Sumo, LTNet that always need contributions. And so we want to help make it easier for people to discover those contribution opportunities and to make it a more seamless experience to contribute with them. So we'll continue to work with those teams. On coordinated approaches and unified systems, we are taking a pretty laser-focused approach in 2019. So what we're going to be doing is looking mainly at number 1 and 7. So that community group registration, so the groups and identities piece, and the contributor journey is where we want to put most of our time. And then we're going to use that as a lens to think about all of these other things. So our hope is that in the first half of the year, we're able to run another version of the pilot in India to get even more information about how we can best support groups, and then work with the Mozillians team and IAM and lots of like time with Parsis to figure out participation systems team, to figure out how we can create a platform that supports everyone's needs, where people can go and register their groups, so that a new person to Mozilla can come and find out if there's a group in their region, in their area that they want to do stuff in, discover that, and for groups to be able to talk to each other. We're still figuring out what all of that functionality is. There's going to be a lot of input opportunities. The next month or so, we're going to share like a functionalities list to get people to input into it, and we're also still learning from the pilot that's running right now. Hopefully by the second half of the year, we're ready to actually start building this portal where mission-driven Mozillians can come discover each other, discover groups, and be able to discover opportunities. So that's taking us down to 7. The first half of the year, you're going to see Activate, beautiful, and also ever improving. And then in H2, we're going to be thinking about, okay, how can we get Activate and this portal to come together in a seamless way so that you're discovering groups and contribution opportunities in a way that makes sense. There's a lot of work there and a lot of unknowns, and it's going to be a very open and collaborative process to build this. So expect a lot of communications about that, a lot of opportunities for input, and we'll also be reaching out to like small groups like Reps Council, different regional groups, to get like specific input on things. We're going to see, when we think then about diversity and inclusion, we're going to keep on the trainings, keep embedding CPG everywhere we can, but we're also going to be really thinking about the portal and the contribution experiences and onboarding through the lens of D&I. So people have to sign the community participation guidelines before they can create a group, for example. Volunteer leadership, how can we make a portal that supports those leadership principles? You can read on Discourse and on the wiki that help build towards the Mozilla communities that we want. Metrics, we have such high hopes that with a portal, we'll be able to actually get reliable metrics and know where all the groups are in the world and what they're up to, and how people can connect to each other. Recognition is something we'll be thinking about through that. And then resource distribution, if you could click a button and send a group money, that would be fantastic. And Kiki and Constantina would save a lot of time. These are probably not like V1 or even V2 of the portal, but they're things that we want to think about as needs, and we'll come back to them always as we're building here. So that is where we're going in 2019. There's a Discourse post too where you can ask questions. I can take questions now.
The first question that has come in, link to the slides, please.
Yes, I will show that.
All right. Are there any other questions for Lucy in the room?
It was a lot of information. So read the Discourse post. It's like a written version of what I said, probably way too quickly. And you can ask questions there. You can reach out to myself or Constantina or anyone else, and I will answer them as best I can.
Cool. Thank you very much, Lucy. So if you have any questions, just reach to us directly or go to the Discourse post that Lucy has already posted, and address your questions there. This is not the first time or the last time. This is not the last time. This is the first time that you are going to hear about this. So we are going to keep talking about this through the course of the year. So don't worry about missing this call, and let us know if you have any questions. Okie dokie, we have 11 minutes left, so I'm going to pass the floor to Senor Michael Kohler, and he's going to give an update about Common Voice.
I doubt that I'm going to use 11 minutes, but I can try. So on Monday, we've launched a sentence collector for Common Voice. So that means that it's currently in beta, but that doesn't keep you from contributing. That means the sentence collector is there for you to submit sentences in your language to Common Voice. The link to that tool is in the Etherpad. When you go there, you can create an account. You can click on add, and then you get presented the text area where you can add sentences in your preferred language, one by one on every line. click the submit button. There's a validation that runs through everything. If the sentences are valid, they will be submitted. And then you can also review other people's sentences once two approvals are there. The sentences are marked as approved, and then we create pull requests for the Common Voice repository, and then it will be live on voicemozilla.org. Since Monday, we have gathered 21,000 sentences in 13 languages, which is amazing. So keep doing that if you've already done that. Start doing it if you haven't. The initial version of the tool was started by Michael Henready. Once he left, I took over, and of course, some other volunteers have contributed as well. In conclusion, if you want to contribute to that, you can do that by either adding sentences in your language, reviewing other sentences, or even better, mobilizing other people to do that. And if you know people or you are somebody who likes to code, there are also some issues to fix on the tool itself. The link to the issues is in the Etherpad as well. That's in a GitHub repository. And there are also a few next steps. We will start with localizing the website itself. So even if people are not comfortable with English, they could still provide languages in their sentence without being stopped by the tool being in English. Then we will also add the exact reason why a given sentence might not have been valid before submitting. That could be things like containing numbers, containing abbreviations, being too long, etc. And at some point, we don't know when exactly, we might also integrate that into voicemozilla.org. But that's still up for discussion. So I will keep you updated on that. That's about it. Does anybody have a question? Then start mobilizing your communities to provide some sentences, I would say.
Michael, we have a question from the group chat. If I type a new line, I need to prove it is free without license. How to do that with own sentences?
Yes, so if you've written the sentences yourself, you basically have the copyright to those sentences yourself. So if you decide to contribute those as public domain sentences, that's totally fine. You can click the checkbox and then we are allowed to use those. If you haven't written the sentences yourself, you need to make sure that those sentences are actually available in public domain. There are some corpuses around that are public domain, but for example, Wikipedia entries are not, for example, so we can't use those.
Cool. Any other questions?
I had a question. If you're reviewing sentences and the sentences include Latin, should you approve them?
I'm not sure I understand the question.
Like there are a series of questions that use like Latin phrases like habeas corpus, like legal phrases, or ad nauseum. Like they're like they're kind of English, but they're like, and I just noticed that there wasn't like any information about that, and I was like, it's correct, but it's like that's Latin and it's like a technical term. Anyway.
That's a really good question. I can't really answer that. I think that would be something I would say the deep speech team in the end needs to decide if that's something they want in the English data set or not. Hard to say.
Cool.
All right. Also, Kiki said that she had a question.
Yeah, I was actually going to ask about how often is
the sentences will be committed to the Common Voice website. Is that gonna be like nightly or I don't know?
Right now it's a manual process, so it most probably won't be nightly, but we're certainly aiming for at least once a week. And of course, automating that is another goal.
Cool. I think that's the last question. If, in case anybody has any questions, please feel free to ask. But Wim is asking again on the group chat, is there any help on what is free and what is not, like which type of license? I remember that was CC0, but Michael, you might know better.
Yes, for now, the only possible license to take is public domain. There's a pretty nice Wikipedia article about that type of license. It's also linked on the tool itself, if you want to read more about that.
Cool. Thank you very much, Michael. Is there any other questions in the room? I don't see anything on the Etherpad. And on this note, I would like to also welcome Luna, Lydia, Sammy, and yep, that have also joined the call. Hello, everyone. I am going to give the quick updates up from the council. The half-year OKRs have been published. Since Mozilla is moving to half-year goals, but the Reps Council is also following that mandate, and we're moving to the half-year goals. So you can go and read what the council is working these days and what are the changes we want to bring on the program. Please go and add any kind of feedback you have on this course. We are more than welcome to take any kind of feedback and any thoughts that you have. It's very helpful from us to understand what the reps thinks about the course and the goals of the program. And also would like to remind you that there is a campaign running and it's ending on Monday. No, sorry, on February the 3rd. Yes, that's on Monday. That it's called Firefox Fights for You, and it's about submissions of videos from you and your community with a video for Firefox Fights for You localized in your language. I have added the link of the submissions there. I would like to remind you all, if you want and you haven't participated yet, there is still time. You can find all the information on the Discord post. And there is also a reminder that we have two ways to judge about the people who are going to take the prizes. By the way, the two winning teams are going to take t-shirts with Firefox Fights for You logo on them. So the two ways that we're going to judge them is, one, how accurate and how close your video is on the original video. I'm going to post also this page, the event page, so you can check the original video to make your video as accurate as you can. And second is about social media sharing. So if you're one of those teams, like, for example, Lydia and Sammy, that have participated and you want to be part of the prizes, do not forget to make a noise and share, because we're going to look on Twitter handles, we're going to look on YouTube views and retweets and likes in order to decide who is going to win the prizes. So does anybody have any questions about this? Nope. Cool. I'm going to just give another non-verbal update. As some of you know, the Firefox 65 support sprint has started and is running for 2 weeks. The Firefox support sprint is from the Sumo Nation, the volunteers who are helping on social forums and knowledge-based translations, and they're helping users around the world with any kind of issues they have with their Firefox. So if you want to participate, there is a splash page. You can chime in and RCVP, and once you RCVP, Kiki will reach out to you and will let you know how you can participate in the awesome community. We have already some people from here like Luna, who is helping us out a lot, and I think also Wim. So thank you very much both. And yeah, and I think also Lydia, sorry Lydia. So let us know if you want to participate and Kiki can help you out. And somebody added also FOSDEM. I don't know who said about there is FOSDEM, but yes, ladies and gentlemen, this weekend, the coming weekend, the FOSDEM The one and only is happening in Brussels. Tech speakers and reps are gonna participate by giving talks and having the Mozilla booth. So if you happen to be in Brussels this weekend and you want to participate in the most awesome open source conference happening in the world, go ahead and say hello to the Mozilla folks. There's gonna also be, by my sources say that there is gonna be also a Common Voice booth, so go ahead and check that out. And there is also a Mozilla dev room, and there is Mitchell Baker talking. So if you want to check, go and check this out. Go and check this out. If you don't have plans, I do recommend you do participate next year if you are in Europe. With that, and we have finished the 30 minutes, I'm going to ask the room if it has any kind of questions. Otherwise, I can end this call. Oh, people are interested on who is going. Aha! Spread the love and the beer. I didn't tell anyone to drink beer in this call. You're on your own on that. All right, everybody. I don't see any questions. So see you all next week. Have a great rest of your day and keep on rocking the freeway.
Bye bye.